Hello everyone, welcome to the third and final episode of the Journey to Valhalla launch week. My name is Thiago, I'm the community manager for Loot Studios, and I'm here to present to you guys this project. If you didn't watch the first and second episode, go check it out before you continue to watch this video. It is really important to understand everything that's going on. This is a new project in a fantasy Viking team, the first time that Loot creates a universe from scratch. The idea was to develop a toolbox for the game masters interested in playing this universe, regardless of the game system they're on. And of course, extremely detailed miniatures with 100% of the concepts being original and realistic, just how you are used to, pre-supported and ready for 3D printing in resin in both 32 and 75mm scales. This universe is named Claigard and inhabited by 3 tribes, each with unique lore and different visual identities. In the first episode, I presented the map of the universe of Claigard and the Draugr, the ice tribe with 11 character minis, 7 objects and an amazing vessel. Check it out! In the second video, I introduced the sea tribe, the Asklung, that has 12 characters, 6 objects and another incredible vessel, as you can see right here. But today, you are here to see the third tribe, right? So with you, Sverting, the forest tribe.
Believed to be savages by the other tribes, the Sverting are a people attuned to nature, both forests and wild animals. They lack the sophistication of regular craftsmen, but make up for it by bending natural powers to their needs. Trees and branches grow in particular ways. Fangs, bones, feathers, and leather endure longer, and stones are perfectly shaped as tools. Some friendly spirits of the forest provide them with protection, plentiful bounties, and inner peace. Others fuse themselves temporarily with fierce warriors who turn into wild animals in combat. As wielders of the wilds, the Sverting are uniquely gifted to brave the uncharted lands of Claigard. Some explorers return with new natural gifts. Others leave civilization behind to be one with nature, or at least are never seen again. These experienced adventurers would be invaluable in leading humankind on expansion expeditions. But the Sverting don't see eye to eye with other tribes regarding how the wilderness should be occupied. The Sverting have to know their borders with the Askalung like the palm of their hands. Generous offers for a piece of seemingly innocuous land might result in their rivals acquiring dangerous materials that can be used against them. This task requires few warriors, which frees most combatants to try to expand into the wild mountains of Claigard. The Frodorung are a difficult foe to face in their natural environment, and holding the freezing land after conquering it is a fight as much against the mountain folk as against nature and elements.
I will now show you the details of each and every one of the miniatures, beginning with the Unarmored Duelist. These men are trained in guerrilla tactics and geared for transient assaults. They charge in, hit their targets with precision, and then move out through superior mobility. Fighting one-on-one is their specialty, and they are difficult to beat. But when attacked by multiple foes, they are quickly overwhelmed, unable to dodge multiple coordinated attacks. This is an incredibly detailed mini. You can actually see his tribal tattoos, his necklace symbolizing Mjolnir Thor's hammer, and his pants. If you look really closely, you'll see they are like layered leaves, representing his tribe, the Sverting. This is the Wolf Rider. Domesticating a wolf is no easy trick, but it isn't beyond the Sverting's affinity with nature. A wolf pup is raised along with his future rider, and a special bond is forged. These warriors serve as a cavalry and skirmishing archers, exploiting their superior agility and speed through hit-and-run tactics. This is another incredible female mini, a true warrior, and it can work perfectly as a ranger. probably a beast companion ranger, right? The next one is the Sledge Hammer. The Sledge Hammer is the man to call when something needs to be smashed to bits. Be it wood, rock, or even steel, nothing can stand repeated blows from his powerful weapon. Despite his destructive power, he is not a frontliner, for he is too slow and unprotected to face someone quick with a blade. The Sledge Hammer can work perfectly as a barbarian character, and if you look at his giant maw, you'll notice that it's actually made of stone, so he can technically also be a druid, a really badass druid. The Moose Incarnate is a whirlwind of destruction. With powerful antlers and dual-wielding hammers reinforced by runes, she rushes headfirst and crushes opposition through an unrelenting assault, with so many consecutive blows that most cannot defend against. Of course, the inspiration for the hammers are both Thor and Viking hammer throwers, right? You can see the runes in the hammers here that grant her power, and I think this would work perfectly for an Oath of the Ancients paladin. Next up we have the Tusked Warrior. The Tusked Warrior has a unique combat style. In addition to fighting with axe and shield, his shoulder pauldrons hold a special use, both offensively and defensively. He is known to tackle foes, piercing them with his tusks, much like a warthog, and also to defend against overhead blows with the tusks, which can be used to disarm attackers. Obviously, this mini would work very well for a barbarian. I think that can be said for a lot of the minis from our Journey to Valhalla, but I think this one would work the best for a fighter and their battle maneuvers, right? Next up we have the Forbidden Seer. The Forbidden Seer offers solace and hope to those seeking counsel in the future. By paying a hefty price, losing sight and burning all her skin, she acquired a powerful connection with the ashes and uses this gift to provide cryptic advice on what is to come. Through ritual sacrifice of animals and burning their bones, the Forbidden Seer is able to see beyond sight. The more sentient the sacrifice, the less cryptic the prophecy. This miniature works both as a character mini, if you go for a warlock maybe, but it can also work as a terrible witch of the woods, which my party would not want to face. This is the Sede. A Sede faces lots of prejudice from most people due to their submission to spirits. Spirits are led in his body, and through mass chanting and using his staff to direct the spiritual energy, he is able to channel powerful incantations, binding his enemies with spiritual weaving and reading the future through the threads that will unfold. This is the wise old man of the tribe. I would probably use this in one of my games as a quest giver, as I think his looks are just too cool for a player character. Next, we have the Wulfedna. While all men have spiritual animal totems, only a few hold powerful enough links to manifest their heritage. A Wulfednar can assume the form of a large ancient wolf at will, while maintaining his mental faculties. Not only is he a powerful warrior, but also a stealthy spy and a master tracker. This is loot giving you 2 minis for the price of 1 again, folks. The Wulfednar works perfectly as a beast totem barbarian, and the wolf can be used as either his transformation, a polymorph, or a beast-shaped druid. Speaking of 2 for the price of 1, this is the Nature Wielder. Through communion with the Landvaetir, the spirits of the land, the Nature Wielder commands the power of vegetation, manipulating roots and even physical manifestations of the forest spirits. She can grow food, direct tree growth to fit the Sverting needs for structures, and skillfully control the battlefield while in natural terrain. Now, come on folks, just look at this incredible mini. Can you think of a better mini for a druid character? This is the last character, the Runecaster. She's tuned to nature like no one else. While fasting, she hung upside down from the tallest tree in all of Sverting territory for 7 days and 7 nights, and much like Odin, glimpsed the knowledge of magical runes, which she uses to cast spells and enhance natural materials. This is a different flavor of druid, or if you're willing to go that route, a warlock. It can also be used as a wizard character. The runes inscribed in her garb can be the pages of a spellbook. As usual, we also did some awesome terrain objects. We have a twisted tree, a magic fountain, a rune stone, an ancient chest, the lotus crystal, and Yggdrasil runes, a piece of the world tree itself. I gotta tell you folks, I think these are some of the most amazing terrain pieces Loot has done so far. And of course, last but not least, the Sverting vessel, Eurus, the wind catcher. It is designed for speed, named Eurus to be favored by the eastern winds and holding a special sail to propel it forward. A secondary mode of movement is through the paddles, which are made of supple trees grown with this use in mind. As a wooden ship, it is thoroughly reinforced by runes, the specialty of the Sverting, and sinking one would be quite a feat. And as you can see, it supports up to 10 32mm miniatures. And this is the Sverting, the forest tribe. Pretty awesome, right? Now, let's see all the tribes together. Yeah, I think our team just lost their minds. They almost don't fit on the table. But do you really think we would stop here? Creating only tribes for this universe? We couldn't miss the opportunity to create some beautiful creatures to populate this world. And I will show you the details of each and every one of them. Starting with the Draugr. The Draugr is a corporeal ghost, a zombie. It is an eternal guardian looking over the treasures buried with it. The Draugr nature is sometimes exploited by the rich who want to protect their hoards. Those with many treasures bury the dead in such a way that they would return as Draugr and protect the nearby riches for all eternity. Fighting a Draugr is both a sign of danger and of a worthy loot. We created 3 Draugrs, each one of them with a unique appearance. The 3 Draugr that we have created are like the 3 different levels of a video game enemy. And the first 2, if you've played Skyrim, you've probably seen them around. This one, you haven't, and you wouldn't want to. This is the Griffon, a truly majestic creature. It is part lion, the king of the earth, and part eagle, the king of the sky. Despite that, it is the target of monster hunters. Griffons' nests house gold nuggets. Their claws have medicinal properties, and their feathers can restore sight to the blind. Household items made of Griffon parts are highly valued and used by the nobility to improve their health and longevity by constant exposure to their healing properties. Griffons are indeed noble creatures, and maybe if your own character is noble, brave, and crazy enough, they can get a Griffon as an epic mount. Next up is the Troll. They live in the mainland, much like humans, although they are distantly related to the Jotnar. Legends say that one should avoid traveling in the dead of night, for one runs the risk of running into a troll. Naturally cave dwellers, trolls live far from society and usually do not interact with humans, especially in daylight. When they do, it's not a pleasant interaction, to put it lightly. There are several varieties of trolls out there. You have the trolls from Lord of the Rings, you have the trolls of D&D, you have the trolls from the Troll Hunter movie, or even the trolls from God of War. This troll is the end your life and dreams kind of troll. Next is the Holdra. This creature has two polar opposites. On one hand, a Holdra naturally looks like a gorgeous female human, except for its bestial tail, which remains hidden behind the clothes. In this form, all she wishes is to sate her lust, and she seduces those who tread along her forest borders with promises of intercourse. Indeed, if the lover is able to fulfill her desire, that is all there is to it. If a Holdra is left wanting or offended, however, her other side takes over. Her appearance shifts to incorporate elements of trees and her animal self. In this form, she is blinded by rage. And after murdering her victim, she proceeds to eat him. For this reason, it is wise to think twice before joining a stranger in the woods, especially if she has a hidden tail. These are the male and female Finnfolk. Finnfolk are seasonal creatures. During winter, they inhabit sunken cities known as Finnfolkheim. In the summer, they enjoy the heat and sun in a secret island called Hildeland, where human slaves toil the fields to produce sustenance for the Finnfolk. During the summer, Finnfolk also kidnap humans, using either violence or guile, to maintain their slave numbers. Your adventuring party would not want to face this folk in an underwater battle. Next up, we have the Valkyries that created two versions of. These maidens are Odin's proxies in battle. Whenever conflict ensues, Valkyries, choosers of the slain, actively choose those who will live to fight another day and those who will die in battle. Those that are slain are then brought to Valhalla, Hall of the Dead, where they feast, fight, bleed, die, and are reborn every single day until the day where Ragnarok comes, and they stand their ground alongside Odin against the Yotum. There is no greater honor than to be chosen by a Valkyrie to be taken to Valhalla. As Odin's proxies in the battlefield, Valkyries are a force to be reckoned with. And if one of your party members died and they think he should not be revivified, well, you're gonna have a hell of a fight ahead of you. Think planetar or higher celestial. This is the Tashkefroa. Out of the many spirits of nature, an Tashkefroa is out of an ash tree. Her motives are not clear to human thinking, and due to this, many believe it is a malicious creature. Those who harm her tree, even if only branches, or who do not properly offer sacrifices to it, are bound to raise her anger and face retribution. And those are the creatures that inhabit the same continent as the tribes. Pretty awesome, right? Now, you are probably thinking that it's over, right? Those guys from Loot couldn't possibly go beyond what they already showed. Well, in the first episode I presented a map of Claigard and where the tribes live. But I omitted some information about the universe of Claigard. Did you notice that continent on the right side of the map, with some tentacles in the water in between? Well,
Legends say there are fertile lands capable of feeding many people. All three tribes venture into the open sea, searching for that promised land. However, a steadfast creature known as the Kraken sinks all vessels that venture into the sea. Perhaps if 3 ships from 3 different locations were set to sail simultaneously, they could outmaneuver the Kraken, but such display of coordination is beyond the current diplomatic relations of the tribes. Alternatively, the Kraken could be slain in a coordinated assault by multiple ships. What is not known is that the Kraken is a natural guardian of the world. The legendary fertile lands are so rich that enormous giants live there. And they also wish to expand their dominion. If the Kraken was slain or outmaneuvered, giant vessels manned by Yotum would be bound to Claigard, and no tribe would stand a chance against the incursion of the mighty creatures. At least, not on its own, that is. If all of humankind were to unite against this common foe, perhaps there'd be a chance for victory, and long-lasting peace with their brothers in arms could be achieved afterwards.
Whew! Wow, now we are talking. Look at this. This is crazy. Look at the size of these creatures. The Kraken is the first gargantuan miniature we created. I will now show you the details of each and every one of them, beginning with one of the giants, the Yotum. While orderly deities reside in Asgard, their counterpart, the forces of chaos, live in Jotunheim and are known as the Yotum. These enormous beings are able to face the gods in combat, and they wish for nothing more than to obliterate existence. Even the mightiest of heroes pale in comparison to a single Yotum, and a horde of Yotum would spell the end of civilization. This is the Hrimthurs. Denizens of Niflheim, the Hrimthurs are towering giants that thrive in the icy cold. They treat humans as cattle, and mortals who face a Hrimthurs are either butchered by their huge axes, crushed by their thrown boulders, or eaten alive. Luckily, Hrimthurs rarely roam the mortal lands. For now, that is. The Hrimthurs are the ice giants, and they have none of the nobility of the Yotum. They are true barbarians of the giant kind. And the last giant is the Adjotna. Muspelheim is inhabited by many fiery creatures, and above them all, the Adjotna reign supreme. They are prophesied to destroy the universe in the final battle. Despite the prophecy, the sight of an Adjotna is rare, and some people think they were made up by groups of hallucinating men watching a wicker man burn. One of the men would jump into the fire, and the rest would believe it was eaten by the fire giant. When they came to their senses, only charred bones remain. The Adjotum are the fire giants, and when the end days come, the fire of their blades will consume all, even the gods. And this is the Kraken, a colossal creature, perhaps the single largest living being. Sailors tell tales of entire vessels being broken in half by the Kraken, although few of those tales have actual living witnesses. While most people think of the Kraken as an evil, destructive force, it also accidentally defends coastal settlements from foreign naval raids. We created all of the tentacles separated, so it can move individually in the game. The Colossal Kraken, great devourer of ships and bane of all sailors. All Vikings learned to hate the Kraken, but me personally, I love him. How about you? And now it's complete. I present to you the Journey to Valhalla. 3 tribes with 45 unique characters, 18 objects, 3 vessels, and 14 monsters, including those 3 insane giants and this gargantuan Kraken, totaling 80 miniatures. Look at that 75mm scale, it's huge. Now, let's explain how this product will be available. On Monday the 16th of August at 10 AM PST, we will send an email to every subscriber on our email list with the link to buy the Journey to Valhalla. We will sell 4 bundles separately, 1 for each tribe. The Frodrung tribe with 19 minis, the Asklung tribe with 20 minis, and the Sverting tribe with 20 minis. And of course, the monsters. And of course, you can buy them all together for a discount. Every character will be available in 2 scales, 32mm and 75mm, pre-supported and ready for 3D printing. As soon as you make a purchase, you receive an email with the access to our platform where you can download all of the files. And this access will be always available. You won't have a limited time to download them. And the best part, to commemorate the release of this new project, we will have a special price for 1 week, from August 16th, when we will make it available, to August 23rd. But since you are watching the launch week event and are following everything, we will give you a huge discount for the first 24 hours. Yep, that's right. Subscribe to our email list below, set your alarm to Monday 10 AM PST and be ready. You can't miss out on this 24-hour offer. It will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's it, folks. Thanks a lot for watching our launch week videos. Be ready for next Monday and don't forget to subscribe below. Bye bye.
Hey, Chago. Up here. It's Odin, the Allfather.
Oh, okay. How can I help you, Odin?
What about the extras, mortal? Are we not gonna have any for Journey to Valhalla? How am I supposed to DM for the other gods? What about the stat blocks? What about the busts? Thor can paint us small miniatures. Do you know the size of his hands?
Of course, Lord Odin. Loot wouldn't leave you hanging. As we do in our monthly subscription, we will provide stat blocks for every single creature in Journey to Valhalla, so that dungeon masters and players can enjoy a good game of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
And what should I tell Thor about the busts? He's not very good, but he really likes painting them.
Oh yes, each tribe gets 3 busts, and for the painters, don't worry, each tribe also gets a painting tutorial. So maybe Thor can learn from them?
Oh, that's wonderful then. I'm very excited for the Journey to Valhalla launch. Now get back to work, and skull in my name!
Pensei também de você botar ele uma vez tipo, na frente dessa cabeça.